Thank you. Mr. President, I do move to suspend the regular order of business to take up and consider the committee substitute for Senate Bill 1. Mr. President, members, the committee substitute to Senate Bill 1 represents the Senate's budget proposal for the next 2 years. It appropriates $106.3 billion, which is well within our spending limit and population times inflation. It makes smart use of our limited resources. It increases funding for our priority needs, and it stays true to the policies of fiscal discipline that have served Texans well in good times and in bad. Our challenges this session are somewhere in between. On one hand, our economy continues to grow. People and businesses continue to pour into Texas. We continue to lead the nation in exports, energy production, and other important categories. On the other hand, because of declining oil prices and other factors, we do not have the amount of revenue that we've seen in recent years. But we've climbed steeper hills before. So when our revenue estimate came out, we got right down to business in the Senate Finance Committee. We formed work groups to put our major budget drivers under a microscope. We scoured every article of the budget, looking for opportunities to stretch our dollar. That process yielded, not only did it yield savings, but I think it led to improvements to the way that we deliver services. Members of the Finance Committee said that I worked them hard, and that's probably true, but I have to tell you, I have never seen a more motivated, hard-working group that worked so hard to make the most out of every dollar in our state budget, and I am so grateful for their work. Senator Schwertner, Senator Huffman, there is no greater threat to our budget than rising cost of health care. Your group on health care costs, senators, not only helped us balance this budget, but it laid the groundwork for putting health care on a sustainable, long-term path of containing cost and preserving services. Senator Taylor, Senator Seliger, your combined effort on education was A-plus work, and that's coming from a former teacher. You and your work group members worked day and night in making sure that we prioritized education. You came up with a new way of addressing special items of higher education, something that has needed a fresh look for decades. People have talked about doing something to rein in special items for a long time, but you are actually the first ones to do something and make this system better. I am grateful to Senator Nichols for your excellent work as chair of work group on Articles 6, 7, and 8. Senator Whitmire took the lead on reforming the way we fund our criminal justice system. Senator West, your work as chair of the Committee on Transferability. And of course, my rock, my vice chairman, Senator Chuy Hinojosa, his leadership, his intellect, and his heart impacted every article of this budget and made it a better product. Before we get to the specifics of this budget, I want to make 3 broad points. First, this budget fully funds education. It fully funds the Foundation School Program. Under our formula, the local share of education funding fills up the budget first. As local property tax collections go up, the state share goes down. But in the aggregate, funding for education is going up every year. Under this budget, education funding will increase by roughly $4.6 billion when you consider both state and local funding sources. Second, under this budget, higher education funding slightly increases in general revenue and slightly decreases in all funds by 0.1%. We prioritized resources impacting students. In fact, we provided a significant increase to financial aid, and every institution is receiving at least 90% of the formula and special item funding that they received in the current budget. Finally, I want to stress, this budget is a work in progress. We will continue to look for savings, efficiencies, and opportunities to free up resources to fund additional priorities. Members, before each of you is a summary document for the budget that was approved unanimously by the Senate Finance Committee. Some highlights. The committee substitute for Senate Bill 1, as I said earlier, fully funds the Foundation School Program, including $2.6 billion to cover enrollment growth. It includes $316 million to fund Senate Bill 788 by Senator Huffman to address the teacher retirement system shortfall. It dedicates roughly $5 billion for transportation in accordance, Senator Nichols, with Proposition 7. It funds Medicaid caseload growth at fiscal year 18 forecasted levels. It increases funding for Child Protective Services by roughly $430 million. It increases funding for mental health by $300 million, including $63 million to eliminate wait list for community mental health services. It includes a $780 million strategic plan for new construction and significant repairs for the state hospital system. And it maintains funding for women's health programs, which is a $31 million increase over current spending levels. And those are just the highlights. Senator Uristi made a comment in Finance Committee that really stuck with me. It said it was a lean budget, but not a mean budget. This is a lean budget, but it's also a smart budget. It responsibly meets the needs of our state, and it preserves our principles of fiscal responsibility that have guided us through tough budgets in the past, and I believe it helps us come out stronger on the other side. At this time, Mr. President, I would like to yield to our work group chairs, and before I yield, I have to thank them and their work groups for the many long hours they put in delivering a product that was, I believe, one that we can support and is the right thing to do.